Okay, so good morning, everyone. Once again, you're very welcome to this session on how to write a fact check. It's brought to you by 211 Check. 211 Check is a fact checking and information verification project of DeFi Head Now, a national non governmental organization that works on digital rights and cyber safety, hate speech mitigation, fact checking, and information verification, as well as some aspects of youth empowerment by doing sort of youth capacity building training programs. And this session is supported by the International Fact Checking Network as part of our efforts to enhance the fact checking culture among South Sudanese news consumers as well as people who create content. So we've been having these sessions since July last year, and they happen every 2 weeks. So it's sort of a webinar and then a training session. So today, this is a training session, and it is intended to teach ourselves how to write a proper fact check. Because recently we rolled out a program called Fact Check for a Pay, but then like only a few people out of the many that have been part of our training programs have benefited from this program. So we believe that some people are probably facing challenges with how they can write a proper fact check. So we'll show you examples or best practices of how you can write a good fact check. If you are having network issues, I would advise that you follow this session on YouTube. I have shared the YouTube link in the WhatsApp group, and I have also shared it in the chat box. Let me just share my presentation. Um, this is my presentation. It's basically a few of theory, and then we will look at a bit of practice and how best we can go around when we are writing a fact check. So this is my bio. If you don't know me, my name is Emmanuel Bida Thomas. I work as 211 Check Project Coordinator and Editor at DeFi Head Now, South Sudan, and I also do training on fact checking, information verification. I also teach internet research, social media management, and marketing, as well as somebody who wants to walk around digital productivity tools, especially on Google, as well as on Microsoft. And the purpose of this training is basically to help you understand the importance of fact checking in the digital age, and also to help you learn the methodologies for effective fact checking, as well as master the art of writing compelling and accurate fact check reports. So basically, if you are new to fact checking, you should know that fact checking is basically about verifying factual statements in public discourse to ensure that these statements are accurate. For example, if somebody goes and say there are 20 million people in South Sudan, and then you are not very sure whether this is the accurate number of people indeed in South Sudan. So the process that you will perform in order to verify whether this statement is factual or is just the slip of a tongue is called fact checking. So it is different, but again related to other forms of verification and debunking that usually happen in the newsrooms. So fact checking is already a practice of many newsrooms. If some of you here work in newsroom settings, I know people like Kay Emmanuel, people like Benjamin Takpin, people like Wegatak, they work in newsroom settings, and they do this process of fact checking in their newsrooms. What they do is they try, like in between, if they're a reporter and an editor, there is a lot of back and forth because you want to make sure that the correct report goes out. So the process of doing all these things is what we call fact checking. But then the difference here is that usually fact checking happens after content after the thing has been said, probably it has gone to the public, yeah? The statement is already in the public. But then usually like the one that happens in newsrooms is verification that happens before the content is published, before the content goes to the public sphere. Now, why is fact-checking important? Why is it important for us to verify statements that are already in the public? This is very important because it helps us uphold journalistic integrity. It helps us inform the public with the correct information, and also it supports democracy so that people are able to make informed decisions based on facts. Because when we allow lies to move around the public at a very large scale, meaning that people will not make informed decisions because the information that they will base their decisions on is not right. But also, with fact checking, it helps us uphold ethical considerations, which include fairness, transparency, and accountability. This is very, very important for any democratic process or for any democratic society. So, when we do fact checking, there is usually a process that we must follow so that we are able to come up with good fact checks. Okay. One of the things that we need to do is to ensure that we know where we get claims. Where do we get claims to check? Because if you must fact check, you first must get a claim. So that thing, that is statement that you are checking during the process of fact checking, that thing is called a claim. So this claim, you can get it from social media, from news outlets, and even from public figures. For instance, when public figures go for rallies or when they do press conferences, some of the things that they say, like make sure that you follow keenly. Unfortunately, like in South Sudan, it's very rare, like for public figures to make a lot of statements, unlike in other countries. In other countries, like public figures very often come to the media, they speak a lot of times, yeah. But in South Sudan, it's pretty rare. Like public figures come out once in a while to say certain things. Also, people can follow news outlets like the newspapers, the radios, the TVs, and even the news websites. And then social media now, like especially in South Sudan, people use a lot of Facebook, and also now people do a lot of TikTok videos. So this is where you can get claims. You look for what are people saying in those platforms, yeah. And then the criteria for you to select what to fact check is make sure that you focus on claims that are influential. Like something influential is something that is likely to affect the way people think or perceive certain issues in our society, yeah. And also you need to focus on claims that are widely shared, like something that is really going viral, that you see going from one platform to the other. You need to focus on such claim. And then you need to also look at claims that are potentially harmful, like something that you are sure when it is left unchecked, it can lead to issues such as, let's say, conflict, let's say revenge attack, let's say even killing of someone. Yeah, maybe someone will go and kill someone because of that. Yeah, so make sure that you focus on these claims so that like these things are properly checked, or maybe something that can make someone lose a job. Yeah, and then all of you know that there's a lot of information out there. Yeah, too much information. So sometimes, like, we cannot check everything, right? So that is why it is important for you to prioritize, because prioritization is key because of the volume of information that is already there. And for you to prioritize, you should have the ability to distinguish between facts, opinions, and propaganda. Who can differentiate for us between these terms, opinions, facts, and propaganda? Who can differentiate? By show of hand, you can raise your hand and differentiate for us between opinion, facts, and propaganda. Yes? You can raise your hand and then differentiate for us based on your own understanding. Okay, great. I see a couple of hands up. Great. Alual Marial. Alual Marial. Mm. Alual Marial, please proceed. Alual Marial and then Isaac Alimpio later.
All right. Thank you, Pitya. Opinions are like personal ideas, personal things that you think they are right. This is just like from a personal base of an individual. And then facts are things that are backed up by statistics, like they are backed up by evidence, things that are seen. You know, when you go later on and see, there's this thing like South Sudan is found in the Eastern Central Africa, part of Africa, which is a fact. When you go right now to the map of Africa, you'll find it like that. And then propagandas, these are allocations. Like these are just like allocations. They are not true. They are just allocations. Like, for instance, these things are mainly used by politicians. Thank you so much.
Excellent, excellent, Alwal. I couldn't put it any better. This is perfect. Like, just that is what it means for us to differentiate between facts, opinion, and propaganda. Yes, Isaac Alimpio, and then Marco Alia, and then Makur. Isaac? Isaac Alimpio?
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, hello? You're hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you, please.
Okay, thank you very much. I think in my suggestion, I say opinion is words or some words that you can suggest by your own that you think somebody can also second. And the facts are some things that are reality, which you can prove that some words have been put in a place which are all right. So propaganda, I think propaganda is some allegation that are being said, and somebody somewhere also will take that allegation to express its word to other audience or people. Thank you.
Great. Yeah. That's also right. It's very close to already what Alual said earlier. Thank you so much, Isaac. Benjamin Makur, and then Benjamin. Makur Majang, please.
Yes. Facts are statements that can be proven to be true or false through evidence or reasoning. They are objective and not influenced by personal feelings or interpretation. For example, the word like the earth revolves around the sun. This statement can be proven with the scientific evidence and is widely accepted as true based on the empirical data. And then opinion are personal beliefs or judgments that are not necessarily based on evidence or proof. They reflect the views or feeling of the person expressing them and are subjective in nature. For example, one can say chocolate ice cream is the best flavor. This is a personal preference that varies from person to person and is not based on verifiable evidence.
Yeah.
And also, propaganda is information, especially of a bias or misleading nature, used to promote or publicize a particular political cause or point of view.
Perfect.
For example, someone can say product X is the only solution to all your problems. This statement is designed to promote a particular product or viewpoint without providing evidence or considering other alternatives. All right, thanks.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you so much, very much, Makur. And then Benjamin Majur, and then later on we can come to James Conn. Benjamin Majur, please proceed.
Thank you for having these things like my views, point of views, for opinions. Opinions are like suggestion made by someone on a certain point, and facts. These are real statements in a certain belief, and propagandas are claims imposed on a certain thing by an individual for political purpose or just for interest of something.
Yeah, sure. Great. Thank you so much, Benjamin. James Con, would you still like to speak?
Yeah, thank you very much for the chance. And I think most of my colleagues have also answered the same statement, which I feel like is the same. So I don't feel like repeating myself, since Aloyal and also Makur said what is right. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you so much, James Con. Banya Tom, you want to say something different? You're welcome. Oh, Lokiri Peter, I see your hand is up. You want to say something different? Okay. That is that. And I hope that if you did not know the difference between this, now you clearly know what each of these terms mean. Yeah, so basically, if you know how to distinguish between these three key terms, and then you are able to prioritize, because things like opinions, you cannot check opinions, okay? You cannot also check predictions. For instance, when somebody tries to, like now we are in elections, and then somebody tries to say maybe this party is going to win the elections. Like right now, probably we may not have enough evidence like to clearly conclude that one party may win the elections. Yeah. So predictions also cannot be checked, and even sometimes propaganda cannot be checked, because propaganda is a mix of facts and opinions in most cases. So, but then a lot of facts can be independently verified using publicly available data and evidence. So, when you are now doing your fact checking, there is something called research and verification, which is part of the fact checking process. Now you have found a claim. Let's say you have a claim that you identified recently, and now you want to investigate it. So you need to do research, and then in the research process, you verify the information that is in the claim. So for you to do this, you should be able to understand these key terms. One of it is primary source and secondary source. Anyone who would like to tell us the difference between primary source and secondary source? Anyone who would like to tell us the difference between primary source and secondary sources? By show of hand, or you can type your answer in the chat box. Primary and secondary sources. Yes, Joseph Henry.
Yeah, thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
think yeah, the primary source is like the origin of the information, like the person of the media which first share the information. And secondary will be like people who share, who spread the information, like the person heard from somewhere and then now shared to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. So the original personal thing from where the information comes is primary, right? Whereas the second person who now transmits this information becomes a secondary source. Great. Yes, James Con?
Yeah, thank you very much. According to my understanding, primary source is the immediate source where you get the information, and the secondary source is source later on where you that source might have originated, like a reference.
Great, thank you. Yeah, yes, Buddha. Thank you, James Con.
Yes, primary source is a kind of source that you get the first class information from the hostmark again. And the secondary source is when you find information that is already given sometimes back, you trace it from the archive.
Great, right? Yeah, so for instance, like Buddha, for instance, you work for the #1 citizen newspaper, right? Let's say you interview a person and then you publish what the person said, right? So for instance, the person like the person that you interviewed is a primary source to you, right?
Yes.
And then now for us who read what you report, now you become a secondary source to us, right?
Yeah, the platform you get the information from now becomes the secondary source.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I also see some answers in the chat box. Someone is saying primary sources are the people who have first-class information. For example, the eyewitnesses and traffic officers. And the secondary source are the people who cause the last information. For example, the doctors at the hospital. Primary source is the person who gets the exclusive or first-hand of an event or incident. Secondary source are individual institutions who get their news from other sources. Perfect. Thank you so much, Buddha. Thank you so much, Mawaminga. Thank you so much, Lual, Marial, and also thank you so much, Con and yeah. So this is one of the things you need to understand, and usually most of our fact checking relies on secondary sources and which are reliable, like digital tools, like databases, as well as expert consultations. So the expert consultation in this case becomes a primary source. For instance, if we have a claim about health and then we reach out to a health expert about what evidence they have about a particular thing, and then that becomes a primary source to us. So again, when you are doing the research and verification, make sure that you emphasize the importance of cross verification, what we call cross referencing, and then maintaining an unbiased approach. So with cross verification or cross referencing, this is more like triangulation of sources. Like we should be able to reach out to as many sources as possible, and then we need to see that the information that we get from these sources are related so that we are able to reach to a similar conclusion. And while we do this process, we must make sure that the approach that we employ is not a biased approach. Now, let us come to the business. How do you write your fact check? When you're writing your fact check, make sure that you start with a clear statement of the claim, followed by the verification process and conclusion. So a fact check has three parts. The introduction. The introduction is a clear statement of the claim, followed by the verification process, which is what we call the claim verification. And then we have the conclusion, like based on the evidence that you have gotten, what ending do you have so that the reader can reach the same conclusion with you. Make sure that you use a logical and reader-friendly format. So, like I mentioned, you have the introduction where you present the claim that you are fact-checking, and then the body, which is the evidence you have found, the analysis of the evidence, and then the findings. And lastly, the conclusion summarizes the veracity of the claim, like whether the claim is true or false or otherwise, based on the evidence, the analysis, and the findings during your research and verification process. So, for example, let us look at this introduction. Let us look at this introduction. This is an introduction from PesaCheck. PesaCheck is a fact-checking organization in Africa, and it is based in Nairobi. So this is they are checking a claim about the front page of a particular paper. So in the introduction, they say this image on X, formerly Twitter, supposedly of the front page of the Daily Monitor newspaper with an article headline, "Stunt goes bad, drivers dies," is altered. You see, just the claim here is the front page of a daily newspaper with an article this. So this is what you need to explicitly state in your introduction. And then the second one is an introduction by Africa Check, that in January 2024, cryptocurrency company Pioneers shared a list of youth unemployment rates in different countries on X, the social media platform formerly known as Twitter. So the claim here is what? Nigeria's youth unemployment rate was at 53.4%, the firm claimed. So like this is the claim, you see, Nigeria's youth unemployment rate was at 53.4%. So your introduction must properly state the what? The claim that is being checked. And then the last introduction here is by the AFP fact check. So here, footage viewed millions of times on social media appears to show the Eiffel Tower in the heart of Paris, France on fire. But this is false. You see? So the claim here is the Eiffel Tower is on fire, yeah? So you put your conclusion, and then so in some cases, in most of the fact checks of most fact check organizations, they also put their conclusion somehow in the introduction, so that like somebody who does not have time to read the entire fact check can just conclude it, like you see in the AFP fact check here. But this is false, because the images were created using visual effects and do not show real events. Also here, you see, the article headline, this is altered, so that like if someone does not have time like to read the entire fact check, and then they can just end here and say, yeah, this is the truth. So this is what you should do when you are writing the introduction of a fact check report. Make sure that the claim is properly put here. The platform where the claim was shared. You see, like here is on X, formerly Twitter. Here is again on X, formerly Twitter, and here is on social media. This is probably, it was shared on TikTok, on Facebook, like different social media platforms sharing the same thing. So you can put where the thing was shared. So this is how you write the introduction of a fact check report. Any questions about this? Anything that is unclear to anyone about how to write a proper introduction? So for us, let me get for you ours at 2-1 check. Let me get a quick fact check that we did recently. Let me get this that I did recently, and then you look at this. Okay, yeah. So for instance, this is the introduction of a recent fact check that we did. So like a recent report by the CC Review, a Juba-based English claimed that the National Communication Authority had recruited 225 applicants for different positions, which is misleading. So this is also the same thing. Like the claim here is the National Communication Authority recruited 225 applicants, yeah? And then the thing was shared on a newspaper, yeah? So this is how you sort of write the introduction of any fact check that you do, yeah? Any questions on the introduction part? Okay. So the next thing is to write the body. So we say that in the body, it is where you now mention the the findings or the process that you took to verify the claim. So again, we will base on the same fact check for PESA check. So you see here, what they did was they conducted a keyword search based on this date. So a keyword search. So the keyword search is, for instance, where you go to a search engine like Google, and then you throw the claim there. For instance, if the claim is saying, if the claim is Daily Monitor front page for today, you put Daily Monitor front page, 27 January 2024. Just write on Google and then see what Google brings to you. That is what we call a keyword search. The search led to a Facebook page showcasing a 16th November 2019 Daily Monitor front page with several similarities to the image under scrutiny, except for the lead story. So this is one evidence that this is one step they took in the verification process. Another step they took was PesaCheck also perused the publication's social media platforms and found a post flagging the purported front page as fake. You see? So the next process they did was they had to go back to the social media platform for the Daily Monitor, probably on Facebook, on X, and then they checked, and they found that already the Daily Monitor had published that same article, and then say that that front page was fake. So this is already two things that they did. So this information must come in the body of the fact check that you write. The next thing, like here, the next example is for Africa Check, the same article. So they say here, the most recent data on employment in Nigeria is a labor report published by the National Bureau of Statistics in December 2023. Dr. Baba Madu, the head of the National Accounts Division at the agency, told Africa Check. So you see here, like Africa Check, what they did was they contacted this person who is the head of national accounts at the Nigeria's National Bureau of Statistics, and he told them that the most recent data on employment in Nigeria is a labor report that they published in December 2023. So that is the first step they took in the verification process. So the next thing was, now Africa Check read through the report, and they found that the report sampled 8,800 households across the country, and found that yes, I'm in the office. Yes, I'm in the office, and I'm doing a training now. So you just come. Great. So this data found that Nigeria's unemployment rate rose from 4.1% in the first quarter of 2023 to 4.2% in the second quarter. And this report found that the unemployment rate was 7.2%, not the other percentage that we saw in the introduction, you see? So this is one thing, one process that has to happen when you are verifying the claim as you write in the body of your fact check. And then the last example from the AFP. Here, like AFP did what they did was they did a reverse image search. So a reverse image search is a way of searching a search engine using using an image to see if a similar image was used in some other instances in the past on the internet, you see? So here they say that a reverse image search found that the same video used in the TikTok was posted to YouTube on July 18th, 2023 by the user Augmented1 with the caption, Eiffel Tower burning VFX. You see that? In response to the confusions around the video, the user added additional clarification in January 24th, 2024, comment saying to all the viewers, this is VFX, visual effects. Visual effect refers to digital enhancement used to live action video and is frequently used by filmmakers. So this is the process that the AFP took in trying to research as well as verify the report. You see that? So like in our case, in the example for the 211 check one. So in the claim verification, we went to look at other similar reports about the employment at NCA. So here we look at the company that was contracted to do the what? The recruitment process. So the managing director of the company here said in an iRadio News report that out of the kind interviewed, that 225 passed the interview, and these 225 will be subjected to a second screening, and not that they have been recruited. You see, so again, another thing we did was we had to contact a public relations officer at the National Communication Authority, and the person also said that these people will be interviewed again, and then only 87 people will be recruited, which is the number of posts that they advertised last year. So like this is what we did while we verified, in trying to verify that particular claim. So this is basically like the process that you have to undertake when you are doing the verification process. Any questions on writing the body of the fact check, especially? So like here you have to do a mix of digital tools, contacting expert sources, and using databases. Like in our case, you can go to the Bureau of Statistics website, you can go to the website of some of these entities that are mentioned in the claim, so that you get updated information and being able to properly verify the particular claim. Okay, great. So the last thing is, now when you're writing the conclusion. So for instance, now the same conclusion by PesaCheck. PesaCheck is saying, PesaCheck looked into an image on X, purportedly of a Daily Monitor newspaper front page with an article headlined "Stunt Ghost Driver," and found it to be what? To be altered. That means it was edited using sophisticated graphic software like Photoshop, or maybe Illustrator, or maybe Canva, whatever editing software that the person used, and altered the original front page publication. Yeah. And then the one for Africa Check. The one for Africa Check, India-based cryptocurrency company Pioneers told its more than 40,000 followers on social media platform X that Nigeria's youth employment rate was 53.4%. This would suggest that half of the country's young people who were able to work were unemployed. But the alarming statistic is based on all data. The country statistics office has since changed the way it counts the unemployed. Under the new approach, 7.2%, not 53.4% of the country's young people are unemployed. You see, so this is the conclusion of what? Of Africa Check. And then the AFP fact check, they say AFP contacted the company that operates the monument, which confirmed there was no fire. Since it was built, the iconic tower has often been the target of urban legends and rumors. That is how they conclude their fact checks. And yeah, so this is basically how you put together a good fact check report. And of course, while you are writing, make sure that in your language and tone, you maintain neutrality and objectivity. You avoid technical jargon to ensure accessibility to a broad audience. And then citation of sources. So citing sources is crucial in fact checking to maintain credibility and transparency. And also it allows the readers to verify the information independently and ensures the fact checker's own accountability. So also it helps like the person to assess this, the authority of the sources, the accuracy of the fact check, the objectivity, the currency, as well as the coverage of this particular piece of work. So like here, you see like when we are writing fact check, we make sure that all the sources, like here you see, this is a hyperlink. So when you click this, it will take you to what we are mentioning here. When you click this, it will take you to what we are mentioning here. When you come here, it will take you to what we are mentioning here. Like you will be able to follow all this information and then also reach your own conclusion. You see that? So this is what we mean by properly citing your what? This is what we mean by properly citing your sources. And then the other thing is this. Again, just type of sources we've already mentioned. We say that you should know that primary sources are direct evidence of first-hand accounts of events, including official records, eyewitnesses, or statistical data. And then secondary sources are just interpretations or analyses that are based on primary sources, such as academic papers or news articles. So news articles are secondary sources, academic papers are secondary sources. And then tertiary sources are now collections or summaries of primary and secondary sources, like the encyclopedias and databases. For instance, something like Wikipedia. Wikipedia is a tertiary source because it relies on secondary and primary sources. So Wikipedia is a tertiary source. So mostly, like when we are writing fact checks, we do not encourage the use of Wikipedia as a source. When you're writing fact check, usually don't use Wikipedia as a source because Wikipedia is a tertiary source. So basically use primary and secondary sources when we are writing fact check reports. Encyclopedias like Wikipedia is not recommended as a source when writing a fact check. But also you should know that there are some challenges in fact checking, okay? A lot of challenges. One of the challenges is the volume of information. You know, the amount of information out there is too much, yeah? There's too much information out there. And the speed at which this information is spread online makes it very challenging to fact check everything. That is why as a fact checker, your work is not to fact check everything, okay? Your work is not to fact check everything. Just fact check what you can fact check, like I explained earlier. Another thing is also advanced misinformation techniques. These days now, there's something called deepfakes. Deepfakes is where like somebody will make a similar video or audio of you. Like people may think you are the one speaking, but it's not you, yeah? And then also we have AI generated text. Most of you are probably using one chatbot or the other. These days, there are chatbots on WhatsApp, there are chatbots on Messenger, there are chatbots on Skype, there are chatbots on Snapchat, there are chatbots on Telegram. Like you can just ask the chatbot, even you can ask the chatbot to write for you an article, maybe about Leon Deneke doing something. Then they will write for you a perfect fact check, a perfect news report. And then you can just publish, and people may think like that is something true, yeah, but it's not. Because of just somebody cooking up a story using an AI generated text. And then also we have sophisticated disinformation campaigns, complicate verification processes, especially in the case of a coordinated inauthentic behavior where a lot of people gang up to push a specific agenda. And then we have bias and perception. You know, personal biases and public perceptions can influence both the fact-checking process and how fact-check results are received by the audience. Yeah. So, like, let's say you are in a case like you see, most of you probably recently had the BBC and TB Joshua documentary. Like, already, especially the followers of TB Joshua and other people who are very religious, yeah, they already they have their own perceptions about TB Joshua and religion, yeah. So it becomes very, very difficult for them to accept the information that is in the documentary, yeah. So, and then also there are people who already have their own perceptions about religion, or who already have their own perceptions about prophets, yeah. They also find it very easy to believe the information that is in the documentary, you see. So this is the influence of bias and what? And perception, which can affect how audience receive even fact check. You see that? So like it becomes very complicated process. And then the other thing is access to sources. You know, people have limited access to primary sources or data. Like in the case of South Sudan, most people here who are journalists, I know they can testify how difficult it is for you to get some sources in this country. Yeah, you know how hard it is, like to get to like some press secretaries, some ministers, some director generals, or some people who head certain departments. It's very difficult. And another thing is most of these institutions, like in this country, don't have websites. And some of them, if they have websites, the website is not updated regularly. So it becomes very hard for us to get certain information, which hinders our ability to verify certain claims accurately, you see. Limited access to primary sources or data. People who have been doing fact checks here, are there any challenges that you want to mention? People like Makur, or any people who have been, are there any challenges that you want to highlight? Probably in the fact checking process, something that is not included here. You can raise your hand and then speak. Any challenges that is not highlighted here? Yes, Buddha.
Yes, Beda, thanks for highlighting the challenges facing fact-checking, especially in South Sudan. I remember I once attended a similar kind of training with you guys, and unfortunately, up to today, I haven't written a single fact-check. And
you need to write. You need to write.
Yeah, yeah. I happened to be contacted by a colleague who was working for AFP, and he had wanted me to help. There was a rumor last year that General David Yao Yao was recruiting some militias. There was a video purportedly to pass that misinformation on social media, and the guy contacted me to find out, to reach out to primary sources and data. But unfortunately, due to limited access to primary sources and data, I couldn't help out. So it's really a big challenge here in South Sudan. That's what I want to highlight. I don't know how how shall we break through from this challenge.
Sure. Thank you so much, Buddha, for sharing the experience with that real life example. I will later on look on some of the strategies that we can possibly employ to move around this. Yes, Banya Tom, your hand is up. You're welcome, please. And then Chol Makol, and then Christopher. Banya Tom, please proceed. Okay. Chol Makol, could you please unmute and speak?
Yes, thank you so much, Vida and the team. As Vida mentioned, my name is Joel Marcol. And last year, that was on November, we were in Juba attending a training with DW Academia. We were given a task to make a fact check about the parties in South Sudan. But it was a little bit hard for us to find out exactly the number of the parties that are in South Sudan, because we tried to check from the websites, we tried to check from different. It was until we end up with a different number of parties that are currently in South Sudan. So getting information currently in South Sudan here is a little bit hard because you may find that we tried with some of the websites, it is not showing the government website or the ministry's websites, but it's not giving us the exact number of the parties that are currently in South Sudan. Maybe currently you can get it because they are making registration, but previously it was a little bit hard. So in South Sudan, we're facing challenges, like seriously, in finding out the information that we need to fact check sometime. Thank you.
True. Thank you so much, Chol McCall. Yeah, I can confirm that it is very hard. It is not a little bit. It is hard for you to get certain pieces of information, especially in the verification process. Yes, Banyatom.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Bida Emmanuel. You know, this work is really I call it a very risky job, but it's something that is really wonderful to do. When there was an information from a hacker or a scammer about the ministry or South Sudan Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security advertising for youth who are engaging in business ideas, and then they were like there is a source of funding. And really, when I contacted someone from the National Ministry of Agriculture about that, I came to realize that it was something that was a scam. But now coming back to my page and I posted, I realized that this same person who made that post was attacking me, that whoever told me that that information is not true is against our development as youth. And I see that as one of the challenges that we are facing, especially as the team of 211 Check. Thank you.
Yeah, so because those people have already their biases, like we mentioned earlier, right? So the person is saying that you want to discourage other people from getting the opportunity, right?
Yes.
So that is the thing. Yes, Marco Arias.
All right, thanks for my Bida for this session and all my colleagues on board. Fact checking is becoming a big challenge, especially in South Sudan context. For example, on personal level, I tried some claim to fact check some claims in 2022 and 2023, and in one of the claims, you find some claims are online, but they have some links attached to them, and in those links are malicious malwares. So when you try to fact check such links and claims, sometimes you end up getting your account compromised. Like in my case, I was fact checking. There was a certain claim about Netflix that was rocking all over WhatsApp groups, Facebook. People were texting me, so I tried to debunk that claim, and I ended up getting my WhatsApp compromised. I think you even helped me at some point recover Telegram and so. So this becomes a very big challenge to fact checkers, because if such claims have links, malicious wares, you cannot confirm whether the information is true or not true, so that you inform the public.
Yeah. So true. I get you. So I will show you a way through how you can work around that. And in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, I have shared the link to the attendance register in the chat box. So please enter your records, especially your correct phone number, so that we are able to send your airtime refund as soon as the session ends. Please register the attendance. Register only once, because we will be deleting the duplicates. Make sure you return. If you're following on YouTube, we have shared the link to the attendance register, and we have pinned it in the top of the live chat. So if you're following the session on YouTube, just go to the live chat and you will see a pin for the attendance register. You can click the link and then put in your attendance record. Yes, Banjping Matek, you're welcome, please.
Okay, thank you, Vida. I'm really enjoying this session of today, and I really appreciate what you have done, guys. So here I got what is happening. Like before we talk of the source, like a primary source and the secondary source, I came across such a challenges in recently when there are certain things that happen. There's this shows like a star in the space, and people were talking in Juba, what is happening around and all this stuff, what is going on. And for me, I went to the campus of University of Juba and asked one of my friends that what is happening here. Then the guy told me because they were doing some like a training there with the university, like drone testing training with the university. He's from College of Engineering, and I asked him. He said that what happened yesterday during the night was their work, that they were testing the drone that they have been learning how to. So I didn't wait for that. I rushed immediately to the. I didn't even do the fact check, and then I rushed immediately and posted the thing in our WhatsApp group there. And people were like commenting things and all this stuff. So this is what have just happened. Yeah, I've learned a lot today about this, and now I need to learn more.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so actually, what happened that time? Even like when because I saw that information. It was first posted by a friend of mine who says in Yei. He said that he saw some stars in a line moving in the sky. They were moving from north to east, and like he said, he counted. There were about like 12 of them, like moving. And then soon somebody from Juba also confirmed that they saw somebody from a wheel. Even people say people were putting drums. That Jesus is coming soon. Yeah, you see that. Yeah, it's crazy. Thank you so much. Yes, Christopher, your hand was up. You wanted to say something? Christopher, your hand is up. You want to say something?
Okay, thank you, Vida. My issue is in archiving the links. In my previous fact check that I've been doing, there are some issues with archiving.
Yeah.
And most of my archiving, I use the Wayback Machine. And there's other fact check as you have been the editor. So there's like Pama.com.
Pama.cc.
.cc, yeah.
Yes.
Then I was also confused. How did you get Pama.cc in? And there's the other fact check that I found Pama.cc. So I need an explanation on that. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Yeah, so Pama.cc is because like there are some links that when you archive using Wayback Machine, like they cannot work. Yeah, so that is why like where Wayback Machine cannot work, we will use Pama.cc. Yeah, so previously also we had Archive Today, but Archive Today is not working now. That is now why we rely on Pama.cc as well as Wayback Machine. So so ladies and gentlemen, we'll be taking a break now. To register your attendance in the chat box. Yes, please. What are you saying?
Yes, hello, Victor.
Yes,
really, it's so interesting. I just feel like it should continue for more hours.
Yeah, we are still continuing. We still have 1 hour.
Yeah, we still have an hour, but I'm saying for more hours. This thing.
We have another one on Wednesday.
This work of fact checking really. With the little that we're doing, and they are really great changes. Citing one example that recently happened between. You remember there was a game between El Merico Bentu and the Mission FC of Yei.
Yes.
Then there was one journalist from Yei who posted on his page and said, Mission FCA had written a petition to the SSFA because they had played a player who was not registered or who was not released by his club from Khartoum. And really, when we went deeper and deeper on the ground, we realized that that was a false information. You see that? And the Mission FC we realized that it was a false information, which means the person who gave him that information was not it was a misinformation. So, and we realized, I personally, I realized that the fan base for Mission FC in Yei were very, very happy because, you know, when such things happen in football, there may be either a transfer of points or it may lead to banning of the player. You see that, or the fining of the club. So the fans of Mission FC were so happy that the decision may either be altered to be a win for them, or as the club may be the opponent team may be fined. But when we dug more information about what that journalist posted, we realized that it was a disinformation. You see that, and I had to write back to that journalist and telling him, please, before you post something, get it from a clear source, so that what the information that you're passing to the people is a genuine and legit one. And this is a guy who has a very big fan base, more especially here in Yei Town. You see that. And as a journalist, when you pass that information, which means even next time when you give a genuine information or as a reality, nobody will really believe because you had been feeding them with the false information. You see that.
True.
I really feel that such trainings will continue, and we need to engage more of these people in such training so that they may improve on their information deliverance.
Yes, perfect.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Very helpful comments, Banya. Very helpful comments. And ladies and gentlemen, just a polite reminder that we have shared the attendance register in the chat box. If you're following on YouTube, the attendance record is pinned on the top of the live chat. So just click on that link, put in your details as we proceed with our session. Otherwise, I want to sincerely thank each and every one of you for the contributions. Very helpful discussion, and I like the way all of us are free to discuss as well as sharing very important insights that will continue to shape the fact-checking landscape in this country. And I am happy that people like Banya Tom are also engaging people within their network. Whenever you see, whenever somebody shares false information, it's good to call the person out. You reach out to the person, you say, hey, this information that you shared is not true. Kindly try to adjust this and this. So this will help them, and also will improve on the accuracy and the fact that they report factual content. Once again, I want to sincerely thank each and every one of you, and please fill in the attendance register so that we can resume the session soon. If you are facing any challenges with registering your name, please do let me know. For Christopher, if you are still there, let me show you how you can use parma.cc to archive. So this is my Google. So just put parma.cc. This first one here is what we call parma.cc. It's a platform built by, is it Cambridge University or something? Then you just create an account. For me, I have an account, so I will just log in. Oh, my password is not correct. Damn. Okay, let me create an account. Probably something went wrong. My site. Let me just create another account. info@211check.org. If you're creating a free account, they will give you 10. You will archive 10 free links. After that, you will have to pay for extra links. For free one, you have 10 accounts to you have 10 accounts to you have 10 free links to archive. Then after that, you have to pay them some money. Okay, so now let me log in. I log into my account. So they just need your email. After you put your email, then they will send you a confirmation call, and then you send your password. You see? So this is how it looks like. You see, okay, for those who don't understand the purposes of archiving. So the purpose of archiving is to allow you have your own record of a particular publication, because you know, like Facebook posts or Twitter can be edited, even websites can be edited. So the purpose of having your own archive is so that in case the person deletes the post, or when the person edits the particular post, you can have your own record of that particular post, and then you can use it to refer to people. Another way of doing this is by taking screenshots. You just take screenshots of a particular thing. So if you are there still, Christopher, so this is where you can put the the link that you want to archive, and then you create the permalink. You have only 10 for the free account. After that, you pay for some. You can add the browser tools also to your Chrome extension, and then or your Microsoft Edge if you're using Microsoft Edge, and then you are able to archive your links. The other one is called Wayback Machine. Wayback. So Wayback Machine is also good, but also you know that there are some kind of links that will usually even refuse to be archived. So so sometimes not all of them can actually work. Let me just sign in with Google into. Yeah, so this is the Wayback Machine. You go to archive.org, and for those ones who want PAMA, I will share the one for PAMA here. For PAMA is here in the chat box. So just click on that. Yes. So yes, so that is the link to PAMA.cc. It can work on. It doesn't have a phone app, but this one has a phone app. This Wayback Machine has a phone app. So usually, if you want to archive, you come to web, and then there's this place where you see save. You put your link here, and then you are able to save it. You can also download the app and keep the app on your phone so that you are able to save. And then the one for PAMA.cc, you can just use this on the phone in the browser without just having to have any sort of app. I hope that is clear, Christopher, if you are there. Let us proceed with the remaining part of our presentation. So let's look at some of the ways we can possibly address the challenges that are facing the fact-checking community, challenge to do with sources, and something similar. Yeah, so some of the best practices for us to overcome the challenges facing fact-checking as fact-checkers or journalists, what we can do is we need to ensure that we prioritize claims that focus on the potential for significant impact or are widely circulated. So this one here helps you address the challenge of large volume of information, because earlier on we mentioned that there's a challenge with a lot of information in circulation, like there's too much information, so we don't know what to fact check. So for you to address this challenge, make sure that you focus on claims that have significant impact or are widely circulated. And then you need to use tools and algorithms to help you identify and prioritize misinformation. So for instance, you can use tools like the CrowdTangle Chrome extension. It can help you see which content is viral and which one is not, so that you are able to prioritize a viral content in order to fact check. Another thing is you need to leverage technology. You use advanced tools and software that are designed for detecting manipulated content, such as video verification tools and AI-based text analysis. Like, for instance, if you want to do text, these days even there are some tools that you can use for checking for checking what we call whether particular text is AI generated. And even sometimes even you can use your common sense. Like there's a way AI generated content looks like. So like the structure is always like the same, yeah? So what we do usually is you can sort of see the structure and then be able to detect whether this thing is AI generated or not. And then you can use video verification tools like InVid. You can also use research, reverse image searches. Like, this is the importance of leveraging technology for you to overcome the challenge. Another thing is you need to be very transparent about the fact-checking process, methodologies, and any uncertainties or limitations in the findings. This can help you build trust with the audience. Then for you to do another thing is make sure that you constantly engage with experts. You need to collaborate with subject matter experts to enhance the accuracy and depth of your fact checks, because experts can provide insights and access to specialized databases or information. Another thing is make sure that you stay updated with the latest trends in misinformation and the tools that are available for fact checking. So you need to do this by continuously learning, and then you should participate in fact checking networks and forums for sharing knowledge and best practices. For instance, people who are in our WhatsApp groups, we usually share with you opportunities for fact checking from other organizations like PesaCheck, like Africa Check, like International Fact Checking Network, like so that you become part of these communities, and then you are able to participate in their engagements. And because of that, you can share knowledge and you can also share your best practices. You can learn from these networks and forums, and it's really, really very, very important. That is why when we share opportunities, we know that there are people in the community who can potentially benefit from this. So when you read the criteria and you see that you are somebody who is fit for this opportunity, make sure that you always shoot your shot. And who knows, you might land for this, like training, like being part of their networks, and so forth and so on. Another thing is educating the public, like what Banyatom mentioned earlier. Also, the other person from the University of Juba, make sure that you are part of the challenge. And you know what you also know that the biggest challenge we face now is the ability of the public to fall for this misinformation. You realize that most of the people in the public, they easily fall for misinformation. But then if we do continuous awareness, continuous educational initiatives that promote media literacy, can empower audience to critically evaluate information. You see, like for us, a 2-on-1 check, like even like you, if you're a student, for instance, and then like most of you have attended a lot of these trainings, even you can become trainers of trainees, yeah? So probably we, as 2-on-1 check, we can be able to support you with, let's say, with technical resources in order to do a small training, like for your classmates or for your small community, so that they are also able to understand these concepts, yeah, very well. And then you have also you will have done your part in educating the public, in order in educating the public and helping them being able to differentiate between all these things that are out there. Because with these educational initiatives, then we are able to promote media literacy. And with media literacy, we are able to empower audiences to critically evaluate misinformation. And then with the issue of sources, So with the issue of sources, again, use your networks. You see, sometimes certain sources are not willing to speak to certain people, especially new people. Yeah. So what you do is you check maybe another journalist who often speak to this person and ask them the information that you want. That way, you could easily get the information from that source that is hard to get. What other solutions do you suggest out there that is not probably mentioned here? What do you think are some of the best practices that we could explore as fact checkers? You can raise your hand and then add your thoughts, or if you want to emphasize one of the points that is mentioned here, you can please raise your hand and then speak. Prioritization of claims, leveraging technology, transparency, and then we look at engaging with experts, and then continuous learning, media literacy by educating the public on the essence of fact-checking, and as well as misinformation. Any additions from your side? And then with the issue of sources, make sure that you use your networks properly. If the source is very difficult, maybe it's not picking your calls, you can use another journalist or another media house so that they are able to get the information for you, and then you can run your fact check. Any additions? Feel free to raise your hand and then speak. Yes, Tom. Tom, your mic is off in case you're speaking.
Okay. Thank you so much for your elaborations. You brought a very good point of saying you guys can give us support, especially when we want to train some of our colleagues, whether being in a classroom or a group of journalists or social media users. And as I have seen, particularly this fact check is mainly involving people who are within Juba and the few who are from far out of Juba. And in case one has like the plan to come down to the grassroots, like I was citing the example of Yei, in order to have these trainings for this some of these regular journalists here, is there a possibility of rendering that support, or it will depend on individual efforts?
No, like let's say, like we can support with like a small meetup, like not necessarily a big training, like not this NGO kind of trainings here, but just like a basic training where you can maybe if you can get a free venue and stuff, and then do a 2-hour sort of thing, but not a big NGO training. You understand what I mean? Yeah, just something small.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I've got you right.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yes. Any other person who wants to add on the best practices that we can explore in addition to the ones we have already explored? I said Deng Arwob is saying, do you mind to schedule Wednesday session? Of course, our sessions for Wednesday is from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. That is the schedule already. So we do not do workday sessions in the morning. No, on work days we do the sessions in the afternoon. So 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. is the time for Wednesday. Thank you, Deng Arwob. Okay, guys. If there are no extra comments, we can proceed. While you do fact checking, there are some ethical considerations that you must follow. Make sure that as a fact checker, you must navigate ethical considerations that include the potential for amplifying false claims or impacting. So when you are doing your fact checking sort of work, make sure that you do not also give audience. You do not also give like, actually, what I mean is you do not also let many people like see the misinformation in the process of trying to verify it. Yeah, you should be very, very careful when you are trying to verify, because sometimes you think that you are fact checking, but even you are making the misinformation to go to a wider audience. Yeah. And also, ethical fact checking involves careful consideration of the public interest, respect for privacy, and commitment to fairness and accuracy. Yeah. Make sure that you also respect the privacy of others, and then make sure you also don't impact the reputation of individuals, and ensure that you are committed to being fair and also to being accurate in your fact checking efforts. So, these are very, very important ethical considerations that you must take into consideration while you do fact-checking work. Any additions from any of you? You want to add something? Any of you wants to add something to the ethical considerations for fact-checking and stuff? Oh, somebody's not seeing my screen. Sorry about that. Thank you for the reminder, Salva. Yeah, are you seeing now? Okay, great. Salva. Any additions to the ethical considerations? Okay, no additions. Good. Now, yes, so these are some references, like the fact checks that I used in the examples. One of them is this one, another one is this one, and one for this one. Yeah, so this is the fact check by PesaCheck. This one here. This is the introduction. You see how you write it. You know, you need to make sure you keep the screenshots. You put the screenshot of the fake claim, and then you put the verification process, and then you put in the right information that you find. Then, yeah, you put this. You see, and then you put your conclusion here. So this is how you write it. The one for Africa check. The one for Africa check is here. First of all, for them, they start with a summary. The summary is to allow somebody who is too busy, who doesn't have the time to read this. You can just read this summary, these keynotes, and then leave the remaining details. Yeah, and then the one for AFP. For AFP is here. Yeah, so they begin with this, the headline, and then the introduction is here, and then the verification process. You see some similars in this. You see something like this, and then the conclusion. See. Yeah, so that is how you write very basic fact checks. I hope that by the end of this session, most of you will go try. If you find a claim, do right. Remember, we have an ongoing program called Fact Check for a Pay, where if you find a claim that you want to investigate, you can follow the process. You can pitch the claim to us, and then if it is cleared, you write a fact check. We pay 25,000 SSP per fact check article. If the article gets published, and then that means you write a lot of articles, and then you get to be paid a lot of money. That is on a freelance basis. If you get to write the fact check, if you find a claim as you peruse through the internet, if you find a claim in the news, in social media posts, in comments, and you think the claim is significant because it has an impact, and you have the data, you've already found some data online that can debunk that claim, then you can always proceed to check it and then pitch it to us under the fact check for a pay program that we have. Any questions? Do you have any questions? Any questions for me? If there are any questions, you can please raise your hands and ask me. If you have any questions, you can raise your hand. I also hope that each and every one of you has been able to put their records in the attendance. Yeah, I see somebody saying no questions. If you have any questions, okay, looks like people are quiet. Okay, no question. Yeah, so just follow these examples, look through our website, see how we write. So, you know, with writing is just like basically seeing how people write, and then you draw inspiration from the writing. Basically that, and like in our case, just visit our website, and then you go to fact checks. Our website. This is our website. Let me share the link to our website so that you see some of our fact checks. This is the link to our website. I've put the link in the chat box, so please yeah, so the fact checks on our website can be found in this section. Yes. So you just read through any of this and then see how like the process from the introduction up to the conclusion, and then be able to write something for us. Like if you need also any help, we will usually help you in the process. We can copy edit your work, and then you have a really final good copy. If you find a claim and then you want to reach out to us, this is our number here, +2 +211 +2. This is the number. Sorry. Okay. This is our number here. 21 is our number on WhatsApp. So you just this number down here, 21350435. Just text us on WhatsApp with the claim, usually with a screenshot of the claim. It is on social media, on our website, screenshot, and then send us, and then we'll send you a pitch form where you can put the details of the claim, and we'll clear you to proceed with the investigation. If there are no more questions, guys, I wish you the very best of your morning. It's close to 12 p.m. Have the very best.